All right, good people. Maybe not so good people. I'm gonna let you decide where you go on that list. But it is another Wednesday night, a little after 8:30. I get that sometime. But episode of Eagles Week podcast. Your boy Cool McKay in the building, and I am joined by Mrs. What is it? 7,200 seconds. Key in the building. All that stuff. Key. What up, Key?
I'm good. What's going on with you?
Still battling, news update though on the health. We down to normal phlegm now. You know what I'm saying? Medication stuff been working. We good. So voice back a little bit. I don't know if I'm quite a consistent yell level yet, but hey, we getting there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not everywhere with like 5 jackets on no more. Got a little warmth back to my body. You know how you be cold, you be like, dang.
I see you got getting your vitamin C.
gotta get my OJ. You know what I'm saying? And I got my OJ that got me a cup of water. Loosen up the rest of that mucus and phlegm, get it on up out of there. Yeah, we making it. You know what I'm saying? We doing a thing over here. So it looks like today is just going to be me and Key. But have no fear. We got this. There's a lot to talk about with the Philadelphia Eagles. And, we're going to be here for a good time with y'all. It may not be a long time, but it will be a good time. For sure. So before we get into it, y'all, we got to get just a little extra bit of hype, a little extra bit of let's get it. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're going to come back and we're going to bring y'all some Eagles talk and a little playoff talk about positioning, where everybody at, who's still in the hunt, all that good stuff. Let's get it.
The kick is away, and the kick it's good! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
All right, we are back in the building. Key, any news? Would you like to go ahead and throw out there?
We got a little bit news. So practice today. Jalen Phillips was limited. Lane, of course, didn't play. Cam didn't play because he's concussed. But Jalen Phillips was limited. But we get Mr. Miles Hinton back, rookie that we did pick up. He is in the able to practice, and of course, Weakest Linc. He's a full participant. So if Cam didn't practice today, he may not go only because of the concussion protocol thing. So we might see Brett Toth. Also, I mean, there were some good takeaways from, I guess, the locker room today. We all know what's going around, circling around. D-Gun spreading rumors and want to say all this other BS and, we're not comfortable with Jalen Hurts. Okay. But Mailata, Jordan Mailata, of course, is upset. No, never mind. Jordan, never mind. I'm something totally different. But Jordan Mailata went on, online on his radio show and just said that, what's going around in the locker room isn't true. Philly media takes things and just runs with everything, as y'all all know. But nothing too crazy as far as the Eagles news. Just Hilton coming back. They heard from Jalen Hurts. Reports on that you're frustrated. Of course, none of that is all true. Of course, Jalen's going to be Jalen. He's he goes in there and he wins games. That's all he does. He's on a different mindset, so he sort of blocks all that stuff out. So I mean, there's nothing. That was all the news that I had. Really, just Hinton coming back. Cam didn't practice. Lane didn't practice. Of course, Lane's going to be out for a while with that Liz LaFranc, that foot injury. So Fred and Brett Toff was full participants today.
Yeah, a little bit, of course, of the depth is hurt with those guys being injured, but that's why you have depth, because you're going to have times where guys get hurt. That's just part of what it is to play in the in the NFL. I just want to quickly touch on a couple of things. Jalen Hurts thing. The rumors that there's players and all this that are unhappy with Jalen Hurts. Why? Why would that? Does that even make sense? Right? Because, I mean, we've seen him execute at a high level when he's in an offense with a coordinator that knows how to properly use his skills. I mean, I've said all along my biggest issue with him is that he's the guy that's, I know it's a bad idea, but I'm still going to do it most of the time because you're the play caller. So I'm going to respect your position, that type of thing. I feel like that's more of my issue with him individually. Are there some things that he can improve on? I mean, there's things that Tom Brady could improve on at the end of his career, right? No quarterback is perfect. So there's always things to improve on. And it's kind of crazy how spoiled the media and fans are in Philly now. You think about 8-9 years ago, we hadn't won anything. Nobody took it seriously. We're just another team that come in, play hard, good defense, crazy fans, but they don't win nothing. Now we're winning. We're being successful consistently. And our problem is, we got a quarterback that wins, but he doesn't win the way we like. So because he's not throwing 400 or 500 yards a game and, all those things, then, the locker room doesn't like him. And he's a Carson Wentz in the locker room. Now I want y'all to remember, Carson Wentz left. By the time he left, he had become a guy that people were gravitating to Jalen as a young player who hadn't proved himself because of the mentality he had. That's how bad, Carson Wentz had gotten in the locker room. Not saying that he was a cancer, but it was just a different situation. And I find it funny personally that we want to try to make that comparison in any way, shape, or form, media, whoever. You've got guys that come in here and work. And are there things that can be improved on? Absolutely. Talked to Diva. We talked about how the offense has to be more consistent. There's no if and, but maybe, if or probably. Have to be more consistent. You have to put guys in a situation where they can, be successful on the defensive side of the ball by holding the ball, by moving the ball, by getting points. But it hasn't cost us much yet, right? We still run the NFC right now. Mm-hmm. But we don't rock with the whole, we got to look the best, we got to be sexy in mid-November. No, we got to be sexy in January. Lastly, one of the things I want Eagles fans to think about and take notice of, Nick Sirianni, and I hate this, but he loves to hold back a lot of what we have, a lot of what we do until we get to the end of the year, right? He likes to be that guy that when we're at the very, 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 very end, that's when he likes to kind of do things. I've never understood this logic, but this is Sirianni's thing. That's what he does. So I feel like there's more plays that are out there, but we're just holding back. I don't like that strategy, but that's been something that's every year with Nick Sirianni. And I don't really know what to say about it because it's been successful enough. It won us a Super Bowl last year. So, of course, he's going to feel like, it's fine doing that because we won. But is it really? Any thoughts, Key?
Man, I just like I get what you're saying as far as Jalen being the guy that just gonna go in there and just do what he's told because that's the type of person he is. But I'm with you in some sense. Like if you don't think this isn't working, like change it. What they gonna do? Bench you because you went against them and scored? What are they gonna do? So I just feel like I just need those games that he so-called took over because we know it wasn't Kevin calling those plays that took over in that. I forget what game that was. The second half was a totally different.
The Rams game
was a totally different. It was totally different play calling.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not blaming it all on Jalen. I just need him maybe to be more vocal a little bit. If you feel like something ain't right, don't hold it in. Like just like he was getting in their asses on their Rams game, that's the Jalen I want to see. I want to see him. I want to see him going and getting in coaches' faces, just like I seen a video of Rico Dowell for the Carolina Panthers. He went to his coach and said, "Coach, we should run this screen. I got y'all. They gonna run it. We can do it." And what happened? He ran that damn screen, and they called it. He stepped out of bounds, but it worked. And he went in there. Because he said, "This is what we should do." Why can't Jalen do that? He did that last year with Kellen. He said, Kellen, we got to get 6 involved. That's because they're two different coaches. Kellen knows what to do and how to get this offense moving. If KP doesn't, shouldn't it be on a quarterback to say, hey, Kevin, this shit ain't working. What can we do to fix it? What do I got to do to fix it? We got to help you. We have to move this offense. You already got the offensive linemen talking, and they don't never talk, especially Lane and Jordan. That's the issue for me if they're talking because they don't never talk. They don't never say anything. It's an issue to me. Smitty's not going to say much. Smitty's going to go out there and do his job. We all know AJ already said his stuff. And a lot of stuff. And then, Hurts is going to do his philosophical stuff and not say it technically, but be philosophical about it and have his quotes. And then Nick is just going be Nick. Then you get Petrulio coming in there saying his lies. Oh, he wasn't forcing it. I don't know what game you was watching. Stevie Wonder seen that you was forcing the ball to AJ Brown. So that's why I don't even listen to his pressers. Because it makes a bunch of nonsense. Nick, too, I don't listen to his either. Only 2 people right now that got some sort of sense is Vic and the special teams coach, Michael Clay. They're the only 2 I feel like got some common sense in that group. So, and Jeff Stoutland, of course. But I just need Jalen maybe to be a little bit more vocal. If something ain't working, like, hey, go to the coach. Go to Nick. Somebody before it goes. I'm not saying Nick is going to lose his job and get on the hot seat. But we can't keep bringing in hiring in-house. It has to be somebody who has the offensive coordinator job before that knows what they're doing. Can't give to Nick because he don't know what he's doing. So Nick ain't the type of play caller, the coach that calls the plays. He oversees things and he might put his input here and there, but he needs a steady play caller. And hopefully by this season, the KP experience will be over and we'll be on a hunt of looking for another OC. So, but I agree. I'm on board with you saying maybe Jalen needs to be a little bit more vocal about things. But other than that, of course, he's not going to win sexy. He just wins, period. He's not the type of quarterback that needs to have 5,000 yards and 42 touchdowns and stuff like that and for a season or, throw 4 touchdowns and 300 yards a game. That's not his type of run. That's not his type. If it's there, he's going to do it. He's done the 4 touchdowns already this year. So, but 1 just needs to be a little bit more vocal for me. Everything else is just Kevin Petrulio needs to, I don't know. We in week 12 and I don't know what he don't understand about this offense is something's wrong. Defense can't keep bailing us out.
I be feeling like I don't know what he does understand, to be honest with you. But I feel where you're coming from. I just be like, this dude, I don't know. I know, but I don't know. Put it like that. So we'll go ahead and slide into our good and positive and not so positive awards for that game. We'll start off with our weakest link.
We might be in agreement this week. Cool, had the same people, and it has to be. Like you said, he's gonna be always on your list until forever. Got to be KP this week. There has to be. So I mean, each and every week, something either he'll have a couple games where he'll be like, okay, you did all right, and then the next week you're like, what is this? So I just feel like the last two games, we could have had more points offensively than we did. But if I had to pick someone, let me go with Grant Calcaterra only because his blocking in the run defense. Just watching the series of film from that game is just he wasn't blocking nobody. Saquon ran in the back of him because he wasn't blocking nobody. So I'm gonna go with Grant this week.
I'm gonna go with AJ Brown. For a guy that wanted targets, there were some opportunities that I feel like he left on the field that would have been better served going to another receiver or a tight end. There was a over-the-shoulder throw that was perfectly placed by Jalen Hurts. It wasn't caught by AJ Brown. Some of the catches, he made the catch. It felt like he was just happy making the catch. I didn't see the tearaway power and speed that we've come to expect from AJ Brown. So I'm going to go with AJ Brown. He did have more catches, but he had not a lot of yards because he didn't do much after the catch. And, I mean, we really need more than that from a guy who has done everything to be the number one targeted receiver in the game. If you talk it, you have to live it. And I don't feel like he lived it for what he's been talking about, how he wanted to make such an impact on the game. So that's honestly that amount of things together is why I'm giving it to him. But I don't think he was garbage, but he was a weak link because of the other things that came along with it. And Kevin Tula, you're a liar, bro. We're not even gonna say you're a liar. Like, I'm not even playing this game with you. You're a liar. You're always gonna be the real weakest link. But like he said, you got to pick somebody else sometime because it's just grabbing low-hanging fruit to pick the obvious weak link of the entire team every week. But you're a liar. You did force the ball to him. And it did not work out because he didn't have explosive plays.
I feel like when Jalen, when he wasn't forcing AJ the ball, Devontae got open more. Goddard was there. Jahan caught some passes. Maybe Saquon out the backfield, and then AJ caught a few here and there. But I just feel like when you're not forcing the ball, things come naturally. Let it come naturally, or scheme stuff open for AJ. But then I feel like some plays, Jalen will throw right on money, or he'll stop running, or I'm like, why are you slow up? Like it'd be balls like that, and I'm just like, come on, AJ, you could have ran. If you would have ran, you would have caught it. So I mean, but it is what it is at this point.
And yeah, especially for somebody to say, I want to be the guy. Like, I want to be the guy. And it's like, I don't have a problem with you saying you want to be the guy, you want to get the ball, and you want to be a reason why we win. I do have a problem if you say those things and then here's the opportunity and you do nothing with it. And I felt like that's what I got this week. And that's why I feel like he was on my list as a weakest link. All right. So we'll go from that. To our elite performance of the game.
Gotta go back on the defense side of the ball. Gotta go with my man number 90. We gotta go Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis, man. Every week he's showing up. He's like, I need this bread. Yeah, I think it was a total of between him and Carter. It was 5 batted balls. I think he had 3 to himself. Getting pressures, getting people off of him. He was named Defensive Player of the Week. So gotta give it to Jordan Davis.
When I say the defense as a whole, I have to say something now that I don't like. That I have to say. Adoree Jackson played well.
I can't even say we can't even say that. We can't even say nothing bad about the boy this week. He actually did something.
That hurt. That hurt about as much as saying Dak Prescott had a good game.
Look, you know what's crazy? Keely had a good hit on special teams. We don't never compliment him unless he's on special teams.
Ever. But I do respect that I guess whatever Vic has been seeing and no one else is seeing, we're starting to see.
That's why I said Vic and Michael Clay, special teams coach, the only one that got some common sense right now.
But yeah, Dory, I mean, I don't know if maybe it took so long, if it's gonna continue, but I have to give props. You know, if I'm gonna get on him and you know what I'm saying, when he doesn't play well, I gotta give him some props when he does play well. He has some big breakups at the end. And the defense as a whole, I'd say definitely carried the team and carried the game, but definitely got to give a special shout out to Dory James.
Now let's just see him do this consistently. That's all. Gotta have some consistency. You can't have 2 good games and then go back to playing like poop.
Yeah. You gotta have some consistency, but it's tough pill to swallow. I'd be Dory James. Y'all understand? I'd be like,
you know, we all would have been like, Dory, I can't cover Jackson in the weakest link. No, not this week.
Yeah, not this week. Not this week. Dory did his thing, so gotta give him some props for that. All right. We are moving on to the previous week game review, and that would be, of course, the Eagles versus the Lions. I'm just going to say one thing, Keith. I'm going to leave it all to you. A win is a win, is a win, is a win, is a win. Is a win. That's all I got to say, Keith.
Going into this game, like I said, I had this game circled ever since last year when, Amara St. Brown was talking his trash. Oh, well, if our defense was fully healthy, we could have beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. But y'all didn't get past Washington. So I guess you're saying if you beat Washington, we would have beat us, but you didn't. So can't go back on the woulda, coulda, shouldas because your whole defense was hurt. I understand it. They got hurt at the wrong time. But the next man, that mentality. But anyway, I had that game circled because, like we stated, this game was personal.
Mm-hmm.
Not even going to hold you. I was 50-50 going into this game only because of, the cornerback situation. And I know Williams and Amara St. Brown can go off. So I was kind of afraid. But as the week went on, and I'm just like, you know what, we can beat this Eagles. We can beat this Lions team. I'm like, it's Goff. It's Jared Goff. You give him pressure, he's gonna crack. And I'm still butthurt because they put Goff in front of Jalen Hurts on the top 100, and they put Penny Sewell in front of Lane Johnson on the top 100. So I really had some beef. Penny Sewell got blown up. He had no answer for Jalen Carter. None. So it was a couple plays. Penny Sewell got blown up. For the most part, Lane did contain Aiden Hutchinson because you didn't really hear his name for a while. And then we did shut down the running game as far, for Gibbs and Montgomery. They didn't really go off. Only Gibbs went off in the passing game. So we did shut down their running game, and we brought the pressure. Our linebackers was all over the place. Dean was all over the place. Phillips was all over the place. Q didn't let nothing get past him. Coop had an interception. So our defense came to play as usual, but our defense cannot keep bailing us out the way that it does. We stopped the Lions offensively. Defense did its job. Amara St. Brown didn't go off. We just had that one touchdown by Williams. But other than that, nobody really went off. Pressured Goff, got an interception out of it. Dan Campbell. I don't know. You all know he's a fourth down merchant. He's going to go for a majority of the game. But I feel like he was down there in the goal line and at fourth and whatever. And it's like twice you were down there. Take the point. My head, I'm just like, Detroit is giving us this game in great field position and we can't capitalize on it. He went for it on four, like twice. I'm like, you should have took the points. You would have been up or even been winning. But he likes to go for it on fourth down, and he was 0 for 5 on fourth down. You'd have thought, okay, let me stop going for it on fourth down. But I mean, both defenses did play great. The only hold us to one touchdown and the rest of the field goals. But I just feel like we could have put more points on the board offensively. Offensively, we did some good things and some not so good things. I'm just like forcing the ball to AJ was on the game plan, and I knew that coming into this game. I said we're going to force the ball to AJ, and because all the words and comments he said this past week, and those first 2 drops, we was like, "Yep, this is what type of game it's going to be today." Yep, this is what's going to be, and it was right from the gate. Them two drop passes. I'm like, this is how this game is going to flow today. So I can't stress it enough. It's just offense got to do better. That's every game. Yes, we're winning. Yes, I get that. I'm not complaining that we're winning. It's just how we're winning. We can't keep doing this for so much longer, especially if we're trying to go deep into the playoffs. It's not going to work against other teams. We might have seen that's going to this is what they're going to run because they already seen it and they already going to be ready for it. So we got to get better there. But as far as the Lions game, defense dominated like I knew they would be. I knew we was going to take care of business. So I'm happy with the win. Just offensively, I'm not that happy with. Defensively, I like our front. So I feel like our defense is nasty. It's like how it was last year. It just got nastier. We got healthier now. So teams just got to watch out. We just got to capitalize on offense.
Yo, one thing I'll add is I'm liking special teams as well. I think special teams is doing a good job. No gaffes or snafus from them. They're just not being talked about. And understand on special teams, you want your special teams to just not be talked about. You want them to not make the news unless it's a big play that happens very rarely. You just want special teams to be special teams. And we're getting that. We're getting a special teams group that says, you know what, we just out here to play basketball. We just out here to play. We got to play our best. That's all we're worried about. We're not worried about getting known, any of that. So I like what we're getting. I like what they're doing at that end as well. And good look to Big Dan Campbell for going forward every time on fourth down and our defense holding them every time. I mean, you sometimes got to be adaptable when you're playing better teams. Dan Campbell still has not learned that, and it's cost him again. And since it was against the Eagles, good look there.
And then one thing about Dan Campbell, he was like, no, don't ban the tush push, let us stop it. And the Lions did stuff us a few times off the tush. Like I said, the tush push can be stopped. It's rated E for everybody. Everybody can use it. Just we run it more efficiently. Like I said, if you really look at it these past 12 weeks, we haven't really been running the tush push like that. So the Lions game, we had the one touchdown, and then after that, they found a way to stop us. So, I mean, all right, if the tush push don't work, got to do something else.
So you mean to tell me, Key, that there's people out there who could actually stop the tush push? So you don't have to run to the league and cry and say, please ban this play. You could just stop it.
To be like the Rams, to be like the Lions and stop it. You didn't hear Dan Campbell bitching and complaining about it like LaFleur and Sean McDermott. But Sean McDermott and the Bills use it more than we do.
But wanted to cry about it. Maybe with some subterfuge. We're gonna act like we're against it, and then we're gonna come out and use it. But
Green Bay does it. Green Bay did it. Baltimore did it. Pittsburgh does it without Aaron Rodgers. He sits on the side. He's like, I ain't got time to be pushing.
Aaron Rodgers is 4 years old.
Yeah. So it's rated E for everybody. It can be used.
Very good point. Very good point. All right, so 2 things. I'll ask you the question first, Key, and then we'll get into the playoff updates for the NFC and AFC. So, Key, my question for you is very simple. What's the problem with the Philadelphia Eagles offense?
It's not. I mean, it's the same thing we're doing over and over. It's predictable. I mean, we're not getting scheme. Certain players ain't getting schemed right. This doesn't look like the offense from last year. You can definitely tell. There's no screens. There's nobody running in the middle. You want to run up the middle, but not using the middle. We want to use the right and the left side of the field. What about the middle? This is when we, talked about running slants and giving AJ the Brown over the middle, or Smitty the ball over the middle, or run Saquon to the outside. It's the same crap on the offense. It's the offensive side of the ball. I don't know why Kevin Petrulio can't understand that and can't see we're doing the same stuff over and over. Every day. Every game, we do the same stuff over and over. Can't get the running game going because we got tight ends that can't block. Grant Calcaterra was terrible on the blocking this game. They put Latu in as a tight end. Well, he's naturally a tight end at that position. I know they had him at fullback.
That's on too.
But
you remember
they put Latu in that one play and the ball moved.
Well, you gotta remember Calcaterra had so many concussions in college that he had quit playing football one time. But he's not trying to go out there and get hit. You know what I'm saying? Be blocking and all that. But
so that has to be an issue then. Yeah. So I mean,
you do that when you draft him.
Right. So I mean, you use Latu if it works. It'll trust me. It open up the holes wider for Saquon if you have better blocking, because that one play, Saquon ran into the back of, I don't know who he ran into the back of, and he just stopped. But that's what's an issue, is just offensively, is the play calling.
I see nothing to argue about with that. With that, I'm gonna go play calling. I'm also gonna go execution, because there are times when the same plays could work, primarily in the passing game. But there's times where those same plays could work, but they don't work because we've already decided we're not going to put our all into it. And if we're not going to put our all into it, it's not going to be successful. I mean, like, AJ, I need you to dive for those balls, my guy. We need that. As a team, we need you to do that for us. We need you to say, I'm going in hard every time. That's what we need. We don't get that every play. We don't get you fighting for the ball every time like we know you can. We need that. We need the routes run, Chris. You run hard through your routes. We need those things. We need you and Jalen. And it takes time because you got different coordinators, different ways that they want you to play. But get on that page of just like he look at you, you shake your head to the left, and he know you going up and you're going across the middle, and hit you with that ball so you can take off. It's those little things in the execution part that concerns me right now, but they shouldn't be an issue in a couple of weeks. And then there's also, of course, play calling, which Key is also eloquently talked about, is the main piece. You have to do things at least out of different formations. We don't even line up in different formations. When is the last time that we've actually really used motion to determine what we're going to do? We run some motion, but it feels like it's just predetermined motion.
Right.
That's the last time we've used motion and been like, okay, that's what we're going to use to make this play this. We're going to actually adjust what we're doing based on the motion. We haven't done that. So I just like for us to really look at that and say, we're going to do what needs to be done to make this what it needs to be. And, I think those are the main things, like hustle, confidence, understanding all those things of it. Yeah, we can talk about those. But the main thing, that's the main thing. We got to have better play calling. And then when you get those opportunities, even off those same redundant plays, you got to make a play. And we haven't been the best at doing that so far.
Like, even if we can't get 7, like get in a range. Put in a range, at least get 3. Like, we get nothing.
Right. Can't be out and then we got to get points because we've made other teams have to stress and not be like, oh, we can hang in the game with the Eagles because the offense don't do nothing. If you get a touchdown every time, at least you're piling up points. We're going down and we're getting nothing.
Right.
And it's showing we're getting nothing. So it just has to be more consistent, more complete, and gotta want it. All right, guys. So let's talk about this playoff picture. We're going to talk about who's seeded now, and then we're going to talk about the teams that are on the bubble. So when I say on the bubble, I'm looking at teams that are 1 to 2 games out of last place. So, for instance, I don't believe that the Cincinnati Bengals at 3-7 are on the bubble when the 7th place team, the last team in the playoffs, is the Jaguars at 6-4. Right, because you've got to make up so many games just to get to that 7th spot.
Right.
So when I say on the bubble, I'm looking at within 2 games in the win column. So that's why sometimes you're like, you didn't mention such. No, because they're not really on the bubble. All right, so let's start with the teams right now in the AFC that are not their division winners but are in the playoffs. So in 5th is the Bills at 7-3. They're 2nd in the AFC East. Chargers 7-4, 2nd in the AFC West. Down a spot this week. Bills are up a spot. And then occupying the last wild card spot right now, that 7th seed, the Jacksonville Jaguars at 6-4, 2nd in the AFC South. And then when we talk about on the bubble, Texans at 5-5, 3rd in the AFC South. Chiefs at 5-5, 3rd in the AFC West at 9th. And Ravens 10th at 5-5 in the AFC North. Now, if you want to go with the 4-7 Dolphins, just because there are only 2 wins technically out, we can do that as well. But that would be the end of what I would look at and say on the bubble. Right. You got to do some things if you're beyond that. So if you're the Bengals at 3-7, Raiders at 2-8, Jets at 2-8, Browns at 2-8, Titans at 1-9, you're going to have to do a lot to just get back into the mix and hope teams lose multiple games. So that might not be the easiest thing to do. So let's jump over to the NFC and do the same thing, and then we'll come back and talk about our top 4 seeds in both. So in 5th place in the NFC now, 2nd in the NFC West, Seattle Seahawks at 7-3. Green Bay Packers are in 6th at 6-3-1. 2nd, in the NFC North. And then the San Francisco 49ers are 7-4. 3rd in the NFC West. And they're in the last spot as of right now. On the outside looking in, Lions 6-4, 3rd in the NFC North. Panthers at 6-5, 2nd in the NFC South. Cowboys 4-5-1, 2nd in the NFC East. And then the Vikings at 4-6, 4th in the NFC North. So the NFC North and the NFC West have 3 to 4 strong teams. Everybody's a little interesting. When I look at the AFC and NFC wild card and on the bubble, the team that surprises me the most were the 2 teams, one good, one bad. At the Panthers at 6-5, that surprises me. I live in Charlotte. It surprises me that the Panthers are at that position right now where they're in the conversation, because they're normally not even in the conversation at this point. And they're technically only a game out of 4th place right now, because the Bucs are the number 1 team in the division. And of course, the bad, I'm going to go Chiefs at 5-5, because I really don't know if the Chiefs have the ability to come back. We talk about Baltimore at 5-5 too, but they didn't have a quarterback for a few weeks. And while as a fantasy team owner, I am disgusted with Lamar's performance. The Ravens are winning games, so they're happy. Right? Lamar's becoming another guy that you got to think about before you draft in fantasy football. It's going to be great for your team if he stays healthy, but fantasy football-wise, he doesn't really be getting it down. Any thoughts on the wild cards in the NFC and AFC key?
I think Pittsburgh will eventually be a wild card team because I do think Baltimore is getting hot at the right time. I think Baltimore will win that division. Pittsburgh is going to fall off that a little bit. So I think that Baltimore will be in the playoffs as that division winner. That's really, I can see Jacksonville falling out, maybe. Because Baltimore is going to move up. Got to see if Kansas City runs the table and maybe they can get back in it. But it's between Jacksonville. I don't know if Jacksonville stays there, but I do know Baltimore is going to move up. In the NFC, everything's still the same right now. I can see the Lions definitely moving up. I don't know to what spot though. That North is tough. That North is anybody's game right now. So I don't see the Bears foreseeing winning the North, even though they're right in the thick of things. It could come down to Detroit and Chicago. That tie is going to hurt Green Bay. So them last playoff spots are going to be interesting for the NFC.
All right, let's go over our top four for each. So for the AFC, surprisingly, the Broncos are your number one seed in 9-2. The Denver Broncos. First in the AFC West, of course. You got to be first to be in the top four. Patriots, 9-2, first in the AFC East, are number two. Colts, 8-2, first in the AFC South. Definitely an overachievement story. And then Steelers is 6-4. They're first in the AFC North. So Key already talked to you about the Steelers. I'll say the Colts, I think, are going to actually slide back up a little bit. They did have the loss that knocked them down because they've already had their bye and some other teams haven't. But I think the Colts are a team that can win some more games. They have everything they need. They have a quarterback that can fit the system. Shane Steichen is a guy that can help a quarterback that's some would call mundane average look a little bit better than that. Defense is good. Run game is amazing. So all the pieces are there. And I think the Colts are going to be a team to watch. Denver's defense is amazing. The offense is kind of like the Eagles in that it's iffy at times. But that defense is one to watch. And they beat the Eagles. They're one of the two teams that beat the Eagles this year. At this point, they're pretty much beating the whole NFC East. I think they still have a game against the Commanders left.
Right.
And the Commanders still have a backup quarterback. That's going to be a tough try for the Commanders, but could happen. But very impressed with what I see from these top four teams, even the Steelers. And it's different from what you would have expected. So I'm excited about that too, because we're seeing something a little bit different on that side. Any thoughts on those top four, Key?
Nope.
All right. And then we come over to the NFC. Y'all know who number one. Stop playing with us. Philadelphia Eagles, 8-2, first in the NFC East, number one overall. At number two overall, first in the NFC West, at 8-2, the Los Angeles Rams. And number three, first in the NFC North, the Chicago Bears at 7-3, the Bears. And then in fourth is 6-4, first in the NFC South, the Buccaneers. So the Buccaneers and the Panthers still have two games to play. So these games are going to be very important because that could determine who actually wins that division. Panthers have to not be Heckle and Jekyll and actually go out and win the games they're supposed to win, a couple they're not, and not win a game we're supposed to lose and lose a game we're supposed to win. So you got to kind of balance it out a little bit better, but you have to learn how to win. Everybody has to learn how to win. And the Panthers are going through that. The Bucs have some missing pieces, but they've been able to maintain so far. I think a lot of people will be surprised about the Bears. I think sentiment for Caleb Williams, I believe, hit the low. I forgot who was playing when they had the game, and then he was someone was doing his nails during the game. That's kind of the point where people's like, we over this dude. but Ben Johnson has gotten the most out of it. So, any thoughts on the top?
Yeah, I knew Chicago was going to be better than it was last year. I had a couple friends who were like, "Oh, it's the Bears for real? They frauds?" I'm like, "Well, they're not frauds. They're 7-3. I mean, yeah, Detroit beat them, Minnesota beat them that one game, and I forget who was third when they lost it. The third loss they had. But I'm just like, they're doing same thing with us. They're doing what they're doing and need to win games. I mean, they have weapons. There's no excuses for them this year. You know, they upped their line, so Caleb's not running for his life. You know, he got receivers, he got a tight end, and he has a running game. And the Bears always had always had an okay defense. So as long as Caleb can not turn the ball over, the Bears could be a good team and actually still win that division. But yeah, I mean, I don't have no problems with that NFC West could go back and forth. You know, I do see the Rams 8-2. You know, Seattle maybe could come back to these senses of Sam Darnold not seeing ghosts. Because that game he played last week was horrible. 4 picks. And they ended up losing by 2. That was the crazy part. They only lost by 2. They almost could have came back and won. But the kicker missed. I think they had a big penalty that knocked them out of like field goal range. But I can see that flip-flopping. Depending on what San Fran does. I mean, I can see either them moving up or they might even move. I can see San Fran maybe dropping out and Detroit moves up. So, like I said, that back half is going to be interesting. Tampa Bay and Carolina, that division is going to be interesting because the Falcons, I don't have no more faith in them. Penix is out. You got Kirk Cousins. Atlanta's going to have some reevaluating to do over the offseason because Michael Penix is towards ACL. And he's not going to be ready by the time the season starts. And then, are y'all going to bring back Kirk Cousins? Are y'all going to draft another quarterback? Are y'all going to already bring one in? Yeah, they got a whole bunch of stuff they got to do with. And is Raheem Morris on the hot seat? Is he going to be going? So I don't see Atlanta doing much, but it could come down to Tampa and Carolina for that division. If Carolina just, you know, goes out there and competes and win games, that might be we might see Carolina in the playoffs.
Atlanta's got 3 wins. They're a wrap.
Yeah.
So Kirk Cousins looks terrible when he plays this year. So yeah, they're a wrap. So that's your NFC, AFC playoff pictures. Number 1 seeds, of course. Denver Broncos 9-2 AFC. Philadelphia Eagles 8-2 NFC. Eagles have had their bye. Broncos are on bye this week. All right. So good people. We're about to slide it on into the end. Got the game of the week preview, but before we get that, let's go ahead and get these comments. We got a couple of comments here, so let's get to it. So, Quitter215 says, beating the Lions and their so-called dominant offense, holding them to 6 points, put a smile on my face. I'm with that. The defense scoring, the offense scoring more points, but put a bigger smile on my face. But hey, a win is still a win. R Manigoto 2 with Rob says, I think defenses contain each other offense. You know, we can talk about how I feel about it all night. I'm sure he got some thoughts on it too, but we're just gonna say okay and roll with it. A minute ago, 02 says, "You're right. Take points." And no, Ben Campbell, keep doing what you're doing, big dog. I mean, Ben Campbell, keep doing what you're doing. We love it. We love to see it. Quitter says the push been stopped before. Hey, they act like it never has, though. They act like it never has. Quitter. They act like it's just unstoppable. It's banned the play because it's terrible. You know, you got Arman to go ban the ish, laugh out loud. You know, it's just unstoppable play. Arman comes to a bigger point here. He says, I definitely don't understand the trend with going forward on 4th down all the time, even when my Cowboys play Arizona instead of taking the field goal. you want to take the 7, and these teams feel like they can just do whatever. They feel like they can just dominate, and they don't have to follow the conventional rules, and they'll find a way to win. And if they go for it 4 times, even if they score twice, it's still more points than they would have got from taking those 4 field goals. But if you go for it 5 times and you don't get it any of those 5 times, it's less points than going for field goals. It's less points than anything. So good job, Dan Campbell. I hope that you continue to coach that way, especially against the Eagles. Call plays that way. All right, so Key, we at the end. Time to talk about a certain game, but there's a certain intro that we get when we are talking about this specific game right here, because this game means a little bit more. So let's just remind.
Here we go right now. We got a kicker with a pick.
The Indianapolis Colts have traded the 49th pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. To announce the Philadelphia Eagles selection, please welcome from the University of Louisville, kicker David Akers.
What's up, Dallas?
Kicker's trolling the Cowboys.
Last year. I like standing up here before you as an undrafted free agent, representing that shield for 15 years. Tonight, I'm representing the Philadelphia Eagles, NFC East champs, divisional champs, NFC champs, and world champs. The world champs. Hey, Dallas, the last time you were in the Super Bowl, these draft picks weren't born. Tonight, we are welcomed into the Eagles
Look at Doug
family
Peterson.
with the 49th pick in the 2018 draft. The NFL would like to represent the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Goedert. He is the tight end from South Dakota State. Go Birds!
Gotta love David Akers. Gotta love David Akers.
Go Birds. I love how I slid that in there. So
And they moved up to get Goddard because Dallas was actually going to take Goddard. That's the funny part.
So Key, I'm gonna leave it open as we talk about the game, and I'll just ask the question this way: what do you see that we need to do in order to be successful in this matchup?
I mean, we still the offense has to execute. Defensively, we just have to, try to lock up Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I feel like we can stop the running game with Javonte Williams, who's been running very well this year. He has a tone to have a little fumbleitis. If you know his stint in Denver. So I mean, we can pressure that front. With all the Tylers on the front line. And we can get to Dak, make mistakes. Dak's going to pick off a ball. I mean, he's bound to throw an interception. But we just have to score offensively. Offensively, we just got to execute, go out there and score points. We can't just keep going 3 and out, 3 points here and there. We just got to win offensively. So defense, I'm not worried about. It should be it should be a good game. Division game's always good. We have Jalen Carter this time. The first time we didn't because, decided he wanted to spit on Dak. Well, spit at Dak. He didn't spit on him. He spit at him. And got thrown out. So there's going to be a big difference. But I could definitely see that front giving Dak some issues. And I know Quentin Williams did play well for them again, even if it was against the Raiders. You did see some improvement on that defensive line with Quentin Williams there. So we're going to have to get creatively as far as the running game. I think we should use Tank more now. Our experiment with A.J. Dillon didn't work. That's fine. We still have Shipley to come in here and there. But Saquon and Tank complement each other so well we need to use more of Tank. We was trying to use Tank back there in the special teams. It didn't work because of the Rams kicker was kicking those knuckleballs, and it was like he was missing them. He just couldn't pick them up for some reason. So I took him out. Took him out back there and actually is using him. Bigsby's not a bad running back. So he compliments Saquon well. I feel like we should use them as well. Hey, that's why I say get creative. We used to do the 3-headed monsters back in the day. Shipley's no slouch either. If you put all three of them on the field at the same time, they're going to be like, what the hell is this? They're going to be like, what is going on? That's what I'm saying. Get creative. Mix it up. See something we've never seen before. So, but yeah, offensively is just the issue. Just everybody get home. I think Fred and Brett Toth will be fine. In my opinion, I think Toth plays a little bit better than Cam Jurgens do, in my opinion, just a little bit. And Fred, I'm not worried about Fred. Fred is going to hold his own. He's done it before. So I have every confidence in the world in Fred Johnson, the other Johnson brother. So
yeah, he was doing it last year.
It's just offensively, we need to score points, and it can't be just 3. Or get in position to score 3. Don't go 3 and out all the time. So hopefully we can get on a good game plan for Sunday. Because it's the afternoon game. It ain't no night game, so I get to yell in the afternoon and not go to bed all late. Being all mad and have to wind down before I can lay the hell down. So, but yeah, it's just offensively. I'm not worried about the defense at all. I know we can slow down CeeDee Lamb. Again, I got faith in the secondary. Q, Coop, Reed. You got to see what Dory can do this week before we continue to keep praising him, or are we going to go back? Nope, see, you're the weakest link again. So, but yeah, I mean, I have every confidence in the world. It's going to be a good game. Dallas versus Eagles is always a good game, rivalry, no matter what the record is. We could be 0-15. We playing Dallas, and the same thing for Dallas. They can be 12-4. We playing Dallas. So, yeah. I seen a tweet. It was like, does it take the fun out of the rivalry because Dallas isn't, because of their record? No, still want to beat them. We don't like Dallas. Dallas don't like us. So that's just, that's just how it is.
Yeah, it's a divisional game, and a lot of people were surprised when we lost to the Giants. I'm not going to say I saw it coming, but I think sometimes you do need the loss just to get people to say we got to do something different. But I did like bouncing back from it. I did like the one thing that positive to me that came out of it was it shows like, yeah, this is the NFC East still. Like anybody can beat anybody. I think Dallas is going to come motivated to play. They have the extra emotion from, their teammate that passed away, and they're going to be riding that wave, I'm sure, into our game as well. It's just going to be dependent upon the Eagles to come in and punch them in the mouth and just make them remember, like, we're the Eagles. We're here for you. And it's not going to be easy to do. It's not going to be something that I feel confident we're just going to walk in and dominate and drag them around the field. But we've got to go with the mentality of that's the purpose, or that's the goal of what we're trying to do. At the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles have to come out. We have to play the best game that we can. We've been struggling offensively. That has to change. We've got to figure out a way, like Keith said, to run the ball. Maybe Bigsby in the backfield with Saquon, the jumbo packages, because Bigsby can probably block for Saquon better than Grant Calcaterra can. So you have to understand your personnel and who you have in. You can have a 2 tight end set, if you want to, and then have 2 running backs. Like, just you have to do things different. You have to think outside the box, use the personnel that you have.
Well, you use Latu.
Well, I mean, I was saying 2 tight ends. Yeah, I'm already putting Latu on the field. I'm just saying, if you're going to use Calcaterra as the other tight end, run away from Calcaterra because we understand what's going to happen. So just being original, being unique, saying that we understand what we have right now. Latu's obviously the guy that's showing he can block. So use him for the skills that he has. He can catch too. He made a good catch in the game as well. So it's not like a guy that has stone hands either. And you just go out there and play football. Been playing football since you're kids. Been playing football all season. Don't let all the other stuff get to you to where you're not enjoying the game you grew up loving again. That's the biggest, I think, thing here. And I think that's kind of, to me, that's where Jeffrey Lurie want to talk to A.J. Brown. Jeffrey Lurie is not a numbers guy, but Jeffrey Lurie is like, look, man, you've been playing football since you were a kid. You love the game of football. You haven't always gotten the ball all the time. We don't have to take that outside and put that out there. We could talk about it in the house. We can handle any issues, but let's get back to what we're here for, and let's try to win championships. You weren't satisfied winning one? That's great. Don't be satisfied winning two, but get to two and then don't be satisfied.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's where we should be at. Our mind should be go out, try to win every game that we can. We're not going to win every game, but try to win every game. Let winning be the focus of who we are. Let that be what we're trying to do every week. We're trying to go out and beat the other team. You know, and then the weeks that it doesn't work, let's figure out why. And let's correct those things and get back to being the winners the Philadelphia Eagles know that we are. There's no excuse for us not to go out there and play a good game. There's no excuse for us not to be better offensively. There's no excuse for Petula at this point. I was about to talk about something else. It was going to be disrespectful, so I'm trying to be better. I'm still got pissed up. I'm still pissed about how the offense looks. So until I'm not pissed about the offense, it stays up. Execution. When those ugly plays happen, those same plays everybody knows, if we still go out there and execute, we're still going to look better than we've been looking. Better play calling is definitely necessary, but execution, running through the ball, selling out, wanting your team to win above all else, and showing it on the field. That's what we need. Because I'm not going to say that guys don't want to win, but show it on the field. Leave everything out there. We already have an NFC East lost. We don't need another one. So go out there and execute, play as good as you can, get points on every drive, and let's send Dallas home with another L. Let's lock down anybody else from having an opportunity in the division, and let's keep that number one seed. So that should be the mindset of the Philadelphia Eagles going into the game. I don't play for the team, so I can't tell people how to be, but that's how I would be if I were there. Mm-hmm. Any last thoughts, Key? Anything we didn't bring up that you want to throw out there?
No, Dallas still sucks. You already know. Brandon Graham went to the Sixers game, had his Dallas sucks hat, had his hat and with the note going through it. So it's Dallas week. I'm sure Dallas fans is doing it to us too. So
yeah, I love that. That was
and we're playing in Arlington.
Yep. We're playing the Arlington football team in Arlington. So one last message I have for the Arlington football team, the players that call themselves the Dallas Cowboys. And with that being said, hashtag Fly Eagles Fly, hashtag Be Elite. Go Birds. Like, share, all that good stuff, y'all. We're going to be back here next week. So I'm going to be I'm going to be 100% honest. Just for those with the streams, I may not be on the stream this week because my birthday is Saturday, and I don't know if I'm going to be recovering to do a stream on Sunday. So if I'm not, I'll still be repping in the comments and having a good time and all that and watching the game. But go Birds, man.
Yeah,
9-2.
Yes, sir.
We try to be the first team with 10 wins. Got to get 9 before we can get 10. Let's go. All right. And for Key, it's your boy Cool, and for our fellow co-hosts that were not able to make it this week, we got y'all, and we out.